Hello, YouTube. All right, so I'm doing something different. I am live streaming late in the evening. It's 9 o'clock here in Australia, so it's like everybody's asleep, you know, in the States probably. Other parts of the world, I don't know, but probably early in the morning, off to work somewhere. Anyway, um, I'm going to talk to you about something that so I've been holding back. The truth is, I've been holding back on a lot of things that I have knowledge of and experience of. And so I'm going to start sharing a lot of the stuff that I've learned over the years and, talking about different things. So I do have some stories. Now, this isn't anything I personally experienced, so let's be clear about that. But I do have stories from the Taoist sect that I was in having to do with this subject. And I want to talk to you about other things that are well known around the world having to do with this subject of can magicians, can shamans, can witch doctors, can they raise the dead? We hear about it in the Christian tradition of Jesus raising the dead. But that has a different connotation to it than, say, a sorcerer or a black magician, because they're using, many of them believe, many people, the idea is that these negative, these dark magicians and wizards are using negative entities to take over newly dead bodies and there's all kinds of talk about this. So we're going to talk about that. So before we get into the stuff that I've heard in my experience, I'm going to talk about some of the obvious things. Now, there is the word zombie. If you've watched, it's all over television. There's zombie television shows. There's, movies about zombies. So we see this everywhere. Zombies aren't anything that we're not. In fact, it's become part of our culture. But zombies um, were a real thing. They are, I believe, people still think they are a real thing in some countries, especially in the Caribbean, Haiti, and such. There's still, people still believe in that. And this is something historically attested to that, I believe starting in somewhere in the 1800s, people coming back from Haiti talking about, and Africa, by the way, because I believe this is something that's come from Africa that was brought over with the slaves that ended up being there. So the zombie tradition, as I understand it, is not actually you're dealing with an actual dead body or a corpse. What you're dealing with is a neurotoxin, and so a lot of sorcerers, a lot of wizards over the years have been also magicians, sleight of hand, and they use all kinds of tricks, especially way back before technology. If you had gunpowder and things like that, and you could make puffs of smoke, you could do all kinds of stuff to make people think you had all kinds of powers that you didn't. So this was just part of the deal. Your average shaman had all kinds of tricks and sleight of hand and other things, as well as maybe some spiritual knowledge and maybe some powers and maybe just knowledge of herbs and all these other kinds of things. And knowledge is knowledge, technology is technology, and people used it. So there's pretty clear evidence that the zombie tradition, in terms of the word zombie in Haiti, it comes from using the toxin from puffer fish and mixing it with other plant materials, and you got to have the right amount. And so, what the black magicians, the shamans would do is that they would put this in somebody's food or water or something and poison them, and of course, it would make them go into a catatonic state. It would put them into, it would paralyze them, and it might even stop the heart and put them into a coma. And in which case, I even heard something about they knew that they could do something that would make the body smell. So the body would start to smell, really fast. And so people would want to bury the body as quickly as possible to get rid of the smell. And of course, they thought the body was dead, and it was just actually in a state of suspended animation. And then what would happen is that the witch doctors, or the whatever word you want to call them, would go and take them out of the coffin, take them out of the ground, and they would be in a their brains would have been damaged, so they'd be brain damaged from lack of oxygen and from the trauma of the poison from the neurotoxin. It's also very possible, because they believed it, if they wake up in a coffin and somebody brings them out of the coffin, and this is part of their belief structure, and there's this, black magician that says, "I own your soul," and is shaking some kind of, rattle or something like that. That in and of itself, if you believe it, could change your physiology, and you just accept that. You're dead, you're not alive anymore, you can't go back to your family. All kinds of emotional things could happen to you at that point. But I also think it's possible that it would have damaged the brain to the point where you could they would not remember who they were anymore, and so you could use them for labor. Anyway, so there's a lot of cases in Haiti where there are people who were legally pronounced dead, and you find them walking around later, but they're not the same anymore. And I think it's a combination of that, and there could also be somebody who actually has power when you have done this to somebody, and you can use your power to maybe even use spirits, negative entities, to cause them to go into a different state of reality for themselves, and who they are, and remember who they are. Now, let me be clear before I go any further. I'm going to talk about this more deeply as I go on. It is impossible for anybody or anything, including God himself, it is impossible for anybody to do anything to you without your unconscious permission. It's impossible. So we have to take full responsibility for our lives. And again, we have to start from the assumption. If you're not a follower of my channel, then you don't know the base assumption of what I teach, which is that we are infinite, omniscient, omnipotent beings. Our souls are omniscient and infinite and omnipotent, and we choose to incarnate in three-dimensional reality in order to learn. And in order to learn and grow and enjoy, we choose to forget. Because if we remembered, it wouldn't be any fun. There wouldn't be any, we'd be able to, know exactly how to manipulate the universe. And this is all that true shamans are. True shamans, true wizards, true sorcerers, people who have power, all that they are people who remember who they are, and they know how to pull the levers on the matrix to get it to do what they want. And they seemingly look like they've got all this power and they're doing everything, but the truth is they just know how to get the matrix to perform for them. And the matrix is here to serve you, unless you don't know who you are and you have a victim mentality. If you believe that you are small, if you believe that there's anything in the universe stronger than you, then you are able to be manipulated and you are able to be controlled. And when you operate from fear, the matrix is designed, because you designed it that way, to then treat you like a victim. So this is how this works. I can see that there's some new people coming on. This is a question and answer. So what I do here with my question and answers is you ask me questions. I'm not interested in your opinions or your thoughts, or you think I'm great or you think I'm whatever. I only want to see your questions. So if you have a question, you're going to write the word question, preferably in all caps, and then you're just going to type normally your question so that I can see it. Because otherwise, if there's a lot of people, I have to scroll through all this stuff. So in case anybody else comes on, I do see that there's one question there. And write out a full question. Don't be lazy about it. Write out a full question. You owe it to yourself for me to understand what you want me to answer for you. All right, so there's the obvious thing. Now, you can tell by my stuff, I perceive myself to be a shaman. I perceive myself to be a spiritual practitioner. Shaman is just a word, so don't get all messed up on that word. You know, shaman is just a modern, in the modern sense. Shaman is actually a word. It's a Siberian word. It means priest or priestess of the Tangarist religion. Tangarists are animists, which they believe that everything in the universe has a soul and can be communicated with. Rocks, trees, people, you know, gods, spirits, ideas, illnesses. Everything can be communicated with, and the job of the shaman is to be a communicator, to be a go-between between the physical and the spiritual. The shaman is somebody who goes into trances and goes into other realms of existence and comes back with valuable information to help the tribe to heal, to help people grow spiritually. So I'm using this word in the general sense, and obviously I think of myself as this. If you followed my channel, you know that I've trained in many different traditions over the years. The Taoist tradition of some shamanic traditions in China. I've trained in West African shamanic drumming. I've trained in the Vedic traditions, the Hindu traditions, mantra. And recently what I'm doing is I'm resurrecting, taking my knowledge and using it to resurrect the knowledge of my ethnic ancestors who happen to be Norse. So we find this all over the world, by the way. I mean, there are still magical books that you can find about Norse, you know, ancient pre-Christian Norse magical spells and mystical symbols, and one of them is used to raise the dead. Now, the thing about these kinds of things is that if you can have the symbol if you want, it's great. You have the symbol with the funny markings on it. You know, this is a powerful symbol. If you don't know what to do to empower that symbol, it's useless. So it's pretty much useless, I think, for today, for somebody to pick up like those Icelandic magical stave books and be able to do the stuff that they're supposedly done. I don't think people are going to be able to do it because the knowledge that goes along with it is gone. And I've learned this because the same thing is true even with traditions that are alive today. You know, like in the Taoist tradition, there's all kinds of stuff like that. But I know from what I've learned that if you don't have some power behind you and you don't know some of the secret things to, you know, to empower these things, it's useless. You won't be able to do anything with it. The other way, as a spiritual practitioner, my brain goes in so many different directions. That's why I keep going on all these different tangents. To go back to what I was saying, I obviously believe myself to be a shaman, but I'm very practical. And the way that I experience the world, the way that I experience my spirituality is I have to first be able to practically explain it in real life. Now, the vast majority of spiritual experiences are easily explainable. And so I'm always testing to make sure that there isn't some explanation. And most of the stuff, like most of the zombie stuff, very explainable. To somebody who doesn't know, especially if you go back in time, you know, hundreds or thousands of years, people who don't understand about neurotoxins and, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, these are the secrets that the shamans would be telling one another. They'd say, okay, what this is this is a potion. If you take it, it'll make you look like you're dead, but you're not. And so we use that to gain power. And they do these kinds of things to gain power over people. And this is true in every tradition. Having said that, there is real power out there, and I'm going to be talking to you about that. So in terms of the ability for a shaman to use evil spirits, let's talk about that. To use evil spirits to go into a dead corpse and bring it back to life and have it like walk into your house and do things. I'm going to say that I can't say for sure. I don't know because, number one, I've never experienced it. I've heard stories about it. I don't believe that that's possible. And I'll tell you why. I do believe that people can be possessed by negative entities. I know because I've seen it. I've experienced it. I was an exorcist for years. And I've trained in an energetic art that is also used for exorcism and cleansing spaces and all that. And so I've experienced it. I've looked into the eyes of some very nasty entities that do exist. I've seen people who have been possessed. But if you watch my channel, and if you're new to my channel, go onto my channel and watch the videos that I talk about demon possession, because I share some of the stories that I've seen and experienced. And what I've learned is that there first has to be a soul inside of a body. So in order for me, this soul to be in this body, there has to be a karmic destiny attached to this body and this soul. No other soul is going to be able to come inside this body and be able to do anything with it. If my soul leaves this body altogether, no other entity in the world, including God himself, if you choose to believe in Yahweh, is going to be able to come in and possess my body and walk around. It's not possible. Because if it is, then we live in an arbitrary universe, and I don't believe we do. Again, you have to get rid of all belief systems that have fear and that create you as being a small being. You are the most powerful being in the universe. You just don't remember. And so each body is you create it, by the way. Before you come here, you, like in a laboratory, are creating the exact body that you want, and you have it is bound to your soul. Only your soul, like a key, can go inside it and activate it. Just like, my phone. Well, my phone, I don't have it. But on my laptop, in order to get my laptop going, I got to use my fingerprint. My fingerprint gets it started. Your soul has a specific print that your body will respond to. So you ask, how do people get possessed? Well, that has to do with the question that somebody here wanted to ask, which is unconscious permission. Unconscious permission, what does that mean? Well, if you watch my channel, I talk about it a lot. We have three minds. We have the conscious mind, the subconscious, and the unconscious. The unconscious mind is what's doing everything. Everything you do in your life is coming from your unconscious mind. You consciously think you know what you're doing, but you're not. It's all coming from all of your unconscious programming. Unconscious means you're not aware of it. And this programming starts taking place in the womb, but lasts for about the first 4 years of your life. That's where all the real hardwired programming for you is done in your unconscious. That's why it's so important for parents to be conscious and loving to their kids, because those first 4 years, not even that. I've learned something really important recently about personality disorders, having to do with, once somebody is damaged in infancy, if there is trauma in infancy that will separate somebody from their identity to such a degree that they never recover from that. Now, they can get help if they become aware of it. They can get help and learn how to manage it, but the identity is never formed, so it's almost like they have no soul. Of course, that's not true. I forgot why was I saying that? I was saying that for a reason. Anyway, so let's go back to the idea of negative spirits. I was talking about the unconscious mind. So the unconscious mind, what I was going to say is that even in the first few months of life, if an infant goes through, especially like abandonment, if they're abandoned for any length of time as an infant, that can cause such trauma that they will never be able to create an identity. And it's a horrible thing. It's really awful for them. It's a really horrible way to live. And it causes a lot of problems. This is where you get serial killers from. Serial killers are people, there's probably other things, chemical things that would normally a person would be, let's say, fearless in battle, would not be afraid to die, would be one of these people that can go off and save, grab people and save them under fire, and they can do all kinds of amazing things. That is something that the brain has created. You combine that with trauma in infancy where they separate from their identity, you end up with a serial killer. You end up with a psychopath. For the rest of people, you end up with a sociopath, somebody who has the inability to empathize with other people. But in your unconscious mind, you are programmed in a certain way. So you take on beliefs. So anybody listening to me, especially like if you believe in reptilians controlling the world, if you believe that the elite are controlling the world, that there are beings of light, that, you know, all these conspiracy theories, there's no doubt in my mind you have a base assumption in your unconscious mind that you are small, that you are limited, and that you're a victim. And that is probably something that was empowered in you when you were a little kid, somewhere between 0 and 4 years of age. And that's been imprinted in your unconscious mind. You go off into the world, you decide you're going to be successful, but for whatever reason you can't seem to make any money, or you can't seem to be healthy, or you can't seem to avoid dangerous people, or you become addicted to drugs or alcohol or something like that. This is where it happens. So you have this unconscious mind. So you're asking about unconscious permission. It means that on an unconscious level, there is so much pain in you. There is something that you're wanting to escape. Do you fantasize about becoming enlightened so you'll never have to have negative feelings? Do you want to escape the matrix because it's so painful here, because life is so cruel? These kinds of thought processes is what's happening when somebody, now imagine somebody who's been really traumatized in unbelievable ways. It becomes intolerable for the conscious mind to even think or remember it. So on an unconscious level, they want to escape that. Now, what's happening is those memories are always trying to come to the surface all the time, 24 hours a day. And so if you have on an unconscious level, it's intolerable for you, then you're going to be seeking ways to distract yourself, become an addict, become, whatever it is. And so for these people, what they do is they unconsciously send out a request to whatever is out there to distract them from their pain. Negative entities are entities that are also beings of light who have chosen to discard their true essence, and they are constantly trying to deny their true reality. And so they live off of negative energies. That's why they like it. The nighttime. They don't like the sun out. They don't like people walking around having fun, playing in the sun. They like it at night when people are alone and they're wrapped up in their unconscious issues and they're afraid. Fear and anger. They like to follow around drug addicts and alcoholics and people who are into, lower vibrational things. And so they smell out like a predator. They are predators. They're smelling out fear and pain. And when they can sense that somebody is in so much unconscious pain that they want distraction, they will go in and that person will unconsciously invite that entity into them. Now, on a conscious level, they think they have been violated. They believe that they have been violated without their permission. And that is their experience. And I've seen that. I've seen that, people being twisted and contorted, without their permission. All the stuff you see in The Exorcist I saw, things flying through the air, people's face completely changing, weird smells coming out of their body, their voice changing. One guy completely, totally changed his appearance. And if you were standing there next to me, you wouldn't have said it was the change of light or something like that. His skin completely changed color. And his eyes completely changed from having an iris to be completely, totally red. Not bloodshot, but totally red, like the red of subscribe. Imagine that being your eyes. He turned into that right in front of my face. And so I've seen this kind of stuff. It's very real. So I want to make it clear that even if there are, when I get into some of the things where it could be possible that you have some supernatural thing doing something to corpses, it's not because any being can put a soul in a body. I don't believe that's possible. My experience tells me that, and the universe tells me that, because if that is true, then that means we live in an arbitrary universe where there are beings more powerful than you that can control you and victimize you. And I promise you that is not the case. I guarantee you. That's what all these things are, all of the things that I teach. thunderwizard.com, courses.thunderwizard.com, this YouTube channel, everything on this YouTube channel is to empower you to remember that you, in fact, are God on earth and that you have complete control over this matrix. If you are following your true soul path, you can manipulate this matrix to give you anything and everything you want. You can defy age. You can defy illness. You can defy poverty. You can recover from any hopeless state of mind or body. I've proven it to myself. And I talk about all the stories I've gone through. All right, so now let me talk to you about what I think can happen. I can't say this is actually the truth. It's a third party story. So I'm perfectly open to not being true at all. It could just be a story somebody said. But I think this is a possibility. Now, I trained in a very powerful, esoteric, shamanic practice, which is also a martial art. You know, if you've ever seen like the kind of, you know, Chinese movies where the people move really fast and they barely touch you and you go flying across and all that. It's that. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but it's that kind of thing. Yeah, I have to be careful. You know, I have to be careful what I say here. So I was training in that, and I kept on hearing these stories about the masters who could do all kinds of things. Now, I heard it from my teacher and somebody who told him, and I'll tell you the story of what they would do. This specific sect, whose name I will not share, they would go, and we're talking like, you know, hundreds of years ago, you know, they would go through villages, and what they would do is they would take offerings. By the way, this is a common thing, by the way. You know, all of the people out there who think that spiritual teachers shouldn't charge money, I dare you to go to any traditional shamanic culture and go to the shaman and ask for something and see if they give it to you for nothing. They won't do it. They will always demand some kind of offering. Blanket, tobacco, usually money. If money has any value, they will require money from you. Go to the word shaman is a Siberian word. Go to Siberia, go to Mongolia, and go to a shaman and ask them to do something for you. They will require money from you. Money. So these wizards would go through villages, and they would be expected to be given offerings. And what would happen is that somebody would see them coming. And they would tell everybody, go inside. The so-and-so wizards are coming. Get off the street, because they were afraid of these guys. For good reason. These guys were extremely powerful. And they'd come walking down the street. And as they were walking down the street, they would throw money in the street. And so what you would see is you'd see two, like, let's see, where's the front for you? So in the front, you'd see two of the monks walking along. And then in the middle here, there would be a body, a dead body, walking on its own. And then behind, there would be, so we're going this way, behind there would be another set of monks. So there would be this dead body walking by itself down the street, and there would be these two monks, one in front and one behind. The guys in front would be picking up the money, the coins that would be thrown into the street. They would be picking up the money. The guys behind would be using their chi power, their energy power, to get the body to walk around, and they're doing it like a marionette, like a puppet. But you can't see them doing it because they're doing it with their energy, they're doing it with their mind. And so using the energy with the mind, they're making the body move. But the body is dead, there's nobody inside. Of course, they got to get it before rigor mortis sets in and all that other stuff, but that's what it was. And this was used for very good purpose to frighten the hell out of people so that people would respect them. It was also for the protection of the other people, because these guys, the kind of power that they had, and I know because I experienced it, and I never got to that level, at least to my knowledge, I never did. But I trained every day for hours a day. I was, right now I'm 200 pounds, just about 200 pounds. But I was 145 pounds back then. I was thin as a rail. And all I did was my energy practice. I was celibate for 6.5 years, and that's all I did. And I was working to master it. I was wanting to get to that level of those guys. And for me, living in the world was, I felt this, like, best word to describe it is dead. I wasn't really dead. There was so much power in me that I didn't see the world the way I do now. One of the reasons I'm, 200 pounds and I lift weights and all that is because I want to be in my body right now. I want to experience this world. I am aware, because of the things that I've seen, I am aware that this life is limited and this is a video game. And, what I want to do is I want to get the most out of this video game. I want to surf my brains out. I want to make love to beautiful women. I want to have fun. I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to give my soul the fun of being here as much as I can and be as healthy as I can and all that. But for those 6.5 years, I was looking out. I was looking to become an immortal, which is you get the energy in your body to vibrate at such a high level that you phase out of this world. Now, I obviously didn't reach that level, and I changed my mind about that. And I've talked about that. I no longer felt the need. I don't think I was destined for it. The other thing is you got to be destined for that. There has to be a destiny that you are going to achieve that, because if not, it'll never happen. But the reason I was saying is the reason why these guys would do this, to frighten people so that they would stay away from them, is part of the reason is because they were at such a level, their energy was at such a level that if you were in their presence, it would make you really uncomfortable. Because they saw through the illusion. The energy was so, and I lived like this. And I remember living in Los Angeles and walking down the street and going to, the grocery store and just walking and just seeing through everybody's energy. And everybody was just like these walking skeletons. And, it was, and I could see right through them. And it was scary because I had no empathy for anybody. So it's in their best interest because, this is part of what I do, by the way, when I answer questions and people ask questions and I know where you're coming from and I come right at you and I cut you a new one and you think I'm being harsh with you. I'm just getting to the truth of what's really going on with you. Your experience may be that I'm being too harsh and it's really intense and I'm tearing you apart and all that. It's not what's happening. I have a limited amount of time, so I go straight to the heart of things. Imagine if I lived in that, completely, totally, everywhere I went. So it was challenging to be around me, just sitting next to me, the energy. And I wasn't even a high-level master. I was just a monk, way down the totem pole, just working towards that. So that's how I think the only way that it could be done. It's people with a lot of energy who could use their energy to manipulate a dead body like a puppet. Other than that, I absolutely don't believe that any being in the universe, including God himself, can invade a human body and empower it, bring it back to life. I just don't believe that. Now, there are cases of people who have had, real death experiences and they've been pronounced dead and they resurrected and came back to life. And in those cases, they come back and they talk about, and then sometimes they've been dead for days, like physically, absolutely dead for days. In the Western world, and some of these are, recorded in recent times. And these people all come back with stories about having left their body and gone to heaven or wherever else and learned all kinds of things, and then were told that they could come back, or in one case, I think this is the most important one. One guy decided to come back. He was off in the ethers and he was moving and he stopped and he said, hey, you know what? I'm not done being human. I'm going to go back. And he went back in and reanimated his body. I think that's the only way. So even if there is some shaman or sorcerer or tantric wizard out there who has the ability supposedly to bring people back to life, even if that's the case, that's really only what has happened is that person karmically was meant to come back. And if anything, that wizard would have the power with his spirit to go and communicate to the guy's spirit and say, hey, if you want, you can still come back. It's your choice, but you can come back if you want. And then the wizard gets all the, oh, he raised the dead. But no, you. This is true about healing as well. Let's talk about healing. No healer ever heals another person. It's impossible. Healing comes from you. The healer may give you the permission to allow yourself to heal your own body. And you may have the experience that they give you power. It doesn't mean that they don't have energy to give you. But you're the one that makes the decision to heal yourself. And I'll go even further. Somebody who has healing powers is not necessarily more spiritual than anybody else. In fact, it may mean that in previous lives they were very destructive. They might have even been serial killers. They might have been, tyrants who had people put to death. And in this lifetime, because the universe is kind, says, here, you're going to have to, pay back all of that. But instead of, remembering all the horrible things you did, we're going to make you a healer in this life. And so the people that they heal, all they're doing is they're giving back to them. They're karmically giving back to them their own energy, and they are healing themselves. And because the universe is so gracious, it allows the person who's actually working for their own karmic balance, they get this really wonderful feeling about, I'm a healer and I feel good. That's how it works. All right, so I think I've got through all the things I want to talk to. Let's see how many people we got on here. We got 19 people on here. Let's see if there are any questions. Again, so you guys, some of you guys are coming on my channel. You know how this works. I really don't want to hear anything from you but your questions. I also don't want you to answer other people's questions. Okay, just give me the questions, and if I ask you a question, then you can respond to that. It just, it helps me to get to the questions better. Karma Mati question: when you said unconscious permission, do you mean people could only have done things to me if I was unconscious to that thing being able? No. It means that let me be clear about what the unconscious is. The unconscious is very real. You are making choices in your unconscious mind. You are deliberately making choices in your unconscious mind all the time. Those patterns I told you about, where you are programmed to believe certain things, on an unconscious level, you are continuously choosing to believe them. You're just not consciously aware of it. There's the difficulty. I've talked about this before, but if I'm in a relationship with a woman and she's able to come to me and say, you know what, I'm really angry with you. I'm just furious with you right now. I'm murderously rageful towards you right now. I will hug her and say thank you, because that means if she's conscious of her feelings, then she can be conscious of her actions, which I'm far more interested. I want her to always be able to act towards me in ways that are constructive and healing. So that's somebody who's conscious of their feelings. But most people are not conscious of their feelings, especially people who talk about love and light all the time. Everything is love and light, and the universe is light, and everything is good, and I always love everybody, and I never do. Those people are the most passive aggressive. They are, those people will snap at the drop of a hat, when it builds up to a point. People pleasers, codependent people who are always pleasing others and don't want to piss anybody off, at some point it builds up and they explode. And I'm thinking of some, few people that I've known who have this phrase that will come out. After a while they will say, I don't ask for much. And that means that every single time that they are giving without asking for something, they are unconsciously asking for things and they don't get it, and the resentment builds up. They pretend to be nice and they can't hold it anymore and they explode. People who take drugs, people who take shamanic trips on drugs, same thing. They are trying to escape their feelings, and at some point that those feelings come out in really passive aggressive, really destructive ways. So it's not that, as you said, things done to me that you are unconscious about. No, you are conscious about it. You're aware of it on an unconscious level. Your conscious mind isn't, and that's a choice. You have to choose to be conscious. So we have to drop and I don't know you, so I don't know if this is how you are, but we have to drop the false spirituality that everything is beautiful and as long as I'm happy, like the law of attraction, as long as you feel good, only good things come to you. If you feel bad, bad things come to you. No, that's not true. You can feel horrible and good things will come to you. And you can feel wonderful and bad things will come to you. It's all happening on an unconscious level. So watch my channel. If you're new to my channel, watch my channel. I talk about it all the time. Read my books. I talk about it in my books. All right. Michelle 39 blah, 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 blah. Question: what is the most effective way to change unconscious programming? Watch my channel, read my books, do the exercises. One good way is to get a Vedic mantra from me, a Vedic astrological mantra where I or one of my apprentices will look at your astrology and find out the exact mantra and deity and planet that you need in order to become conscious. It's called your Dharma Devata. By the way, while I'm on the subject, I'm going to write it here. Let me see if I oh, here it is. I want you to go here. 241.thunderwizard.com. You can get an astrology certification where you can learn my specific style of Vedic astrology, which is you won't find it anywhere else. It's not that other astrologers don't know this stuff, they just don't give it in readings because people don't know to ask for it. People ask really superficial things like what's going to happen this month and when am I going to meet my soulmate and when am I going to make money and all that. And they, nothing wrong with that, but that's what most people ask for. I give you things that will last the rest of your life. The one mantra that you'll need for the rest of your life, that you only need that one for the rest of your life. The 3 planets connected to the 3 minds, your spiritual name, your aruda, which is how people see you, which is your costume for success. I'm dressed in my costume for success, including that thing right there. That's part of my costume. I'm wearing that because in my chart it says, if you want to make money, you have to be like this. People have to see you this way. So if you go to 241.thunderwizard.com, you can get an astrology certification and you can become a certified rune reader. These savings are going to go back. They won't last long because I'm just getting ready to pay my taxes. Once I pay my taxes, all the prices are going back up to normal. All right, so you can go there for that, seeing as how that. So you asked the question, what is the most effective way? Again, you're probably looking for a quick fix. There is no quick fix. It's going to take time. Do the work. Do all the things that I teach are effective ways to change your unconscious programming, including working with me personally. I think I've run out of most of the spaces in case people want to work with me personally as an apprentice. I may have checked that. Go to thunderwizard.com and see. Magic Song question. On the topic of Tantric sorcerers raising the dead, can you elaborate please on the comparison with Odin doing the same thing in the Voluspa and also one of the rune songs? So Odin, bear in mind, Odin is a god. And you have to understand what mythology is talking about. So in order for me to talk really intelligently, I would have to have gone and looked at that myth again and really meditated on what the symbolic significance of. So when we're talking about mythology, we're talking about symbolic significance having to do with, for instance, Odin dying on the tree of knowledge for 9 days and the runes appearing. That is a mythological process of how you can become completely conscious of the mysteries of the universe. The tree of life is the spinal column. The spear that he's pierced with is the spinal column, is the Shakti, because the name for spear is Shakti in the Vedic, which means that which shakes. And when the Kundalini rises in your spine shakes. And we've talked about that. Warriors in the past would hold their spears and they would shake the spears and the spears would go and make this buzzing sound. The whole army doing it, going. This is symbolic of Shakti, of Kundalini awakening, which has to do with the human psychological awareness, and all of the chakras are opening as a result of that. I'm trying to condense that huge topic into one, little paragraph. So that's what we're talking about, something like that. In order for me to do that, I have to look at that, and I'll have to do that at some point and start reading the myths again and start having some deeper knowledge. But you can't compare that to human beings. Human beings, we're in a different matrix doing different things. The gods are in another matrix, and they're living out these generalized truths that we have to unpack and apply in our lives. And you have to understand what the significance of the symbolism is. So Odin dying to the tree of life is you dying to your small egotistical self and awakening to your infinite awareness of yourself, and your kundalini rising, and the runes being the mysteries. They're also the runes sounds and symbols, but it's also the mysteries of truth. That's the process of you dying to yourself and coming to your own self-awareness. The reason to chant runes is if you want Odin's experience, you have to chant the runes. Chant the runes and meditate on the runes, and then you will have Odin's experience. Maybe not in this lifetime, but at some lifetime you will. I share with people, I don't really know what the reason is, but I can't chant the runes or talk about them in any depth, or otherwise my whole life starts coming apart. That could mean because I have built up so much energy in my life, or my kundalini has awakened, that I can't play around with that power. It's too powerful. Or it could mean the opposite. It could mean that I'm really down low on the totem pole and I have a long way to go, and that everybody else listening to me is more powerful than I am, and they can chant the runes all day long, and it's just this nice thing. I honestly don't know. I don't care. I don't have an ego about it. I just know I don't play around with the runes unless I have some serious business to do. Alekia Patria question: if I die as a mostly satisfied being, so I'm going to read your question, but Alekia, all of your questions are about the fear of death. I'm okay with that. I embrace you asking me anything, and I want you to feel that you can ask me anything. I want you to feel safe to ask me whatever you want. But this is a big deal. Alekia, I don't know if you have a spiritual counselor. Do you have a mentor? Do you have a counselor? You need to be talking with somebody. Coming on here and asking questions is good, but it's not nearly enough. You really need somebody that you can talk to, because you have some really serious unresolved issues that I can tell, are crippling you in a bunch of different ways. This fear of death is understandable, but it's crippling you. So you say, if I die as a mostly satisfied being after fulfilling most of my wishes and enjoying my life to the fullest. She is responding because this is one of my teachings, and so good for her. She follows my teaching. Enlightenment is not a result of burning off mistakes or sins. Karma has nothing to do with that. In order to become enlightened, the only thing you need to do, I'll repeat myself, in order to become enlightened, meaning by enlightenment I mean being free from reincarnation. If you want to achieve moksha, freedom from reincarnation, the only thing that you are required to do is fulfill all of your desires. Most people are in conflict and feel guilty and don't believe they deserve to have their desires, and that's why they keep reincarnating. So I'm living my life to the fullest. I'm doing everything I want. And if you knew what the hell I was doing in my life, you'd know what I'm talking. I do everything I want in my life. And everything that's good for me is good for everybody else. And everything that's bad for me is bad for everybody else. So you never have to make the decision between what is good for me and what is good for others. Alekia, I know that you're in conflict. I don't know exactly what the conflict is, but you are in conflict with yourself because you're afraid of death. If you're afraid of death, it means you don't believe the universe has your best interest and that the universe wants to take care of you. Because if you did, you'd be like, yeah, I'm going to die whenever I die, and then that's going to be cool. Change that fundamental belief and you won't have to keep asking this question. Having said that, I'm happy to answer it. If I die as a mostly satisfied being after fulfilling most of my wishes and enjoying life to the fullest, will I be born in a superior body and inherit knowledge from parents? Alien nextly. What do you mean alien? I don't do the alien thing. Don't ask me questions I don't teach. I don't teach that. Do you want to be born in a superior body? Well, so all you're telling me is that you don't like the body that you have, And it tells me that you're trying to, I saw this in your previous question where you said, why do people talk about the body? Why don't we just say that we're a spirit in a body? And I went on and say, love your body. Your spirit and your body are fused together for a reason. Love your body. So learn to love your body. I don't know why you don't love your body. You don't need to tell me. But it's a psychological thing. Listen, if I hated my body at this age, at 56, I can guarantee you that if I had conflict about my body at this age, I would look a lot older. In fact, if you go back and look at me when I started my channel 10 years ago, I look older. I was overweight, I was unhappy, I was in pain, I was physically not healthy at all, and I thought I was getting old. And here I am, 10 years later, and I've got all this hair on my beard. People think I'm 40 years old. I'm getting younger, according to people. It's because I love my body. I love being in it. And so I love my body because I love myself. So if you hate your body, it means you hate yourself. So this idea that you have that if you can just focus on the soul and forget about the body, you're unconscious about your own self-hatred. You're unconscious about the fact that you chose your body. So I encourage you, again, it just tells me that you need counseling with a psychologist, with a spiritual counselor, somebody that can help you work through this conflict and self-hatred that you have. So you can learn to love, to be yourself, and then love this life. To answer your question, then you will fulfill all of your desires. When you love yourself, you'll love your life. Then you don't need to be incarnated again. Everybody who says, this is my last time, I'm never coming back, guaranteed they're coming back. The person who says, yeah, I love it here, sure, I'll come back, that person may not have to come back. According to some astrology, some really esoteric astrology, according to that, I have one more life after this one. I won't lie to you. That's a frightening thing. I mean, I won't lie to you. I say that, I wish I could snap my fingers and say this is the last one. So I'm going to come back because I haven't gotten to that place yet. But I know but I'm heading towards there and I want to go there. And the way that I do that is by loving my life. And I tell you, every single day that I wake up, nowadays especially, every single day that I wake up and I, am happy and I'm healthy and I've got this incredible life that I'm living, I'm dedicated to making the most out of my life. That's why I'm spending so much time on my channel, because I've decided I'm going to make my channel huge. And I'm going to have all kinds of prosperity and money and to do whatever the hell I want. And when I do that, I bless everything in the universe. What's good for me is good for the universe. All right, so Alekia Patria, because it's easier to make $100 from $10 than make, I don't know what you're asking about. I don't know what you're saying. There's something in you about this investing in money and all that. Again, there's something wrong with that. Just let the universe take care of you. Just let the universe take care of you. Stop trying to figure everything out. Just let it go. Just be in the moment. Tara Fair question, not quite related, but into a breathworks course I'm taking. It was said that the Dantian sounds are A-U-Um. Do you know of any problems with chanting Aum? Well, why would there be problems with it? Aum is Om. It's actually pronounced O-N-G. O-N-G. It's actually pronounced Aum. Aum. That stimulates it. Why would there be anything wrong with it? It's also the seed sound for the Othal rune, the final rune, the rune of completion in the rune deck. Why would there be any problem with it? You chant that for the rest of your life, you'll achieve everything you want. Let's see, what else here? I'm surprised there are so many people this late or maybe this early. Sosa Lol, if you have a question, write the word question. Look at how other people are doing it. Write the word question in all caps and then write your question. And write a full sentence. Can I ask you, if I talk with Ghost, my life going to be shorter? Can you, why? Well, the real question is, why are you talking with ghosts? Why do you need to do that? Somebody very close to me passed away, and I wanted to talk to her all the time. And I went through a real tough period. You can see it. I talk about it on my channel. It was only a couple of years ago. And I wanted to pull out a Ouija board and talk to her. And she didn't respond. I didn't pull out a Ouija board, but I did everything else in my repertoire to get her to talk to me, and she wouldn't talk to me. And the message I got in one experience was that she was watching me. Now, since then, I don't have it in front of me, some of the things. Since then, it has been very clear that she is here. I think she's here with me in this house, to be honest with you. And I'm not a creepy vibe, anything like that. There's been just a few things that have just let me know that there's no way that could be anything else, and the message is really clear. Somebody's guiding me. Now, I asked for her help. You can ask your ancestors for help. Now, if you're talking about a ghost in a house that you don't know, stop screwing around with that. Why are you doing that? You want to know what ghosts are? The kind of ghosts that haunt houses? They're homeless people. Talking to a ghost in a house is like going to the homeless guy, the crazy homeless guy on the corner who lives in filth and is talking to himself and eats out of garbage cans. It's like asking him a question about the universe. Are you going to sit down with that guy? Are you going to invite that guy into your house? Imagine you come home and the homeless guy down the street is sitting there in his filth and he's eating, something out of the garbage can, or he's watching your television. You're going to say, "Get the hell out of my house. What are you doing here? Go get a job. Go to the center." And they're going to say, "I don't want to go to the center, man. They're crazy." Why are you spending time talking to ghosts? It's a complete waste of your time. There are other ways to get what you're looking for. You're trying to get something if you're doing that. Now, again, you didn't ask me in a full sentence. I don't know you. Maybe English isn't your native language. I can't tell. But you didn't ask me, in a full sentence. So I don't know why you're asking that. But is it going to make your life shorter? Who gives a crap? Is talking to the homeless guy down the street going to make your life shorter? Well, it's going to be a drain on your energy. So why do you want to do it? It's just a stupid thing to do. Just don't do it. Karma Madi, question. You say there has to be a destiny for that. Again, please write everything down. Assume I don't know what you're talking about. I'm assuming from your question you mean the title. Is there a destiny for somebody being able to raise the dead? Yes, I said that. So if you asked that question before I explained it, yes, there has to be a destiny. And it means that the soul wants to come back. So in other words, the soul wouldn't have left the body and is racing towards the light, and then some wizard grabs it and pulls it back, and it's like, "No, let me go," and it gets pulled back. That's not how it works. Soul would never do that. Soul has to want to do it, and has to give it permission, and it has to be part of its karmic destiny. It truly can't be finished in this life. So it says, "I'm not finished. I'm going to go back." Even if even if the soul is presented with angels or ancestors or gods who say, "Your time is up. You have to go back," that is their own projection. It's coming from them. They are seeing what they believe in. They're not completely on the other side yet, and they're projecting their internal desire to go back, and so they're really convincing themselves to go back. You have to understand we live in a hologram. Things are one thing and another thing. They're not either or. So the gods really do exist, and the gods are just projections of you, both at the same time. All right, so you say there has to be a destiny for that. You mean that there has to be a reason to leave the body? Destiny, by that you mean leaving the body to fulfill a purpose in this 3D world? Of course. Why is this hard to understand? The purpose comes from you. The purpose is that you chose to do it. There's a desire that your soul wants to do, experience, feel, learn, and so it chooses to come back, and that's what a destiny is. It's your soul desires to do it. Read my book, The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. Read that book. Go up here to courses.thunderwizard.com and click on books and get that book. So you can understand what destiny is, what karma is, what dharma is. It's a very short book, but it'll explain everything. And it tells you exactly how to get the most out of life. If you can master what's in that book, you won't need to do anything else. That will, at the very least, put you in the position so that everything you need will come to you, whether it be spiritual teaching or money or happiness or love or whatever. Salman Nasif, I don't see a question there. If you're new to the channel, I'm only interested in your questions. So you're coming on here and you're spouting your opinion. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you in a timeout. If you keep coming onto my channel and spouting your opinion, I'll just simply block you so that you can't comment. Nothing personal, it's just a waste of my time. I have to scroll through all of that, and this is a question and answer. You don't know that, you're new to the channel, so don't take it personally. But for now, you're going to put you on a timeout so that you will have to either listen and ask questions or go somewhere else. All right, Peter Moshi, question. Why did the gods drink soma when there are better ways to gain immortality? First off, you're not asking me a question. You're giving me your opinion. So first off, you are trying to force feed an assumption down my throat. In order for us to have a conversation, we have to share base assumptions. So don't think that you can squeeze in that assumption by pretending that you're going to ask me a question, because that's not what's happening. You want me to co-sign your belief, and then you don't really even care about that question, to be honest with you. So you said, let's look at your question again. You said, why did the gods drink soma when there are better ways to gain immortality? How do I know that there are better ways to gain immortality? Who said that? And the other thing is, what is soma? Again, when we're talking about mythology and you're talking about the mythological story of the gods gaining immortality, it is mythology. And mythology has symbolic teachings in it. So you're treating it like it's literal. So even if there are better ways to gain immortality, those better ways are other ways of drinking the soma. So you got to think about this differently. And I don't accept your assumption that there are better ways, because I don't know what the hell that means. There's all kinds of ways of drink the soma. You know, when you are connected and the pineal and the pituitary and everything lines up, you start to, there's this essence liquid that starts going down your throat. That's called the soma. That is what gives physical, long life and immortality. How did you get that? There are techniques to make that happen. So again, this whole idea of that, you're thinking about it in a two-dimensional way and you don't understand what the soma is. So do more thinking and meditating on that. And whatever way there is, even if it's a better way, it's not that you're not drinking soma. That's a symbolic term for achieving immortality. All right. Alekia Patria, she's going to answer my question, so I did ask her. She says, superior body means special abilities. I mean, like, will I be God, extraterrestrial being next life? I don't know. But you obviously believe that, see, all of this stuff, you have an assumption again. You don't like your life. I already know that. You don't like your life. You feel like a victim. You want out. Now, I don't know. You haven't told me. Were you born disfigured? Were you born with physical, limitations? I mean, you haven't said anything. I don't know anything about it. So if that's the case, I don't think it is, but if that's the case, your soul chose to do that in this life so that you would learn to not be exactly where you are right now. The mindset where you are right now, where I need something better, I need out, this isn't it, this isn't good enough. You specifically created the limitation so you'd be forced to go, you know what? I'm going to be happy no matter what. I'm going to figure a way out of this no matter what. You're a victim, Alekia. I want you to watch more of my videos and do the practices in my videos. And you need counseling because you have unconscious programming that is preventing it. And there is no limit to what you can accomplish in this life. You know, I wish I had it, but in a couple of my videos, I play the video of the guy who was the paratrooper who was an invalid. He couldn't walk without crutches. He was like, 150 pounds overweight and he was sick. And he decided he was going to get better. And he went around and nobody would take him. No yogis would take him. And he finally found a yogi that would teach him. And you see him doing all these yoga poses and, falling over on himself, and he's in a lot of pain and he can barely do it. He doesn't just walk without crutches. The guy ends up svelte. I mean, he's more thin than I am and more, ripped than I am, and he's running at full speed. He went from absolutely impossible, sick, broken, to healthier than, anybody else on his block. If you want that, Alekia, you can have it, but you got to drop the victim mentality. And in order to drop the victim mentality, you have to become conscious of why you hate your life. Why are you so sad? Why are you so miserable? Why do you hate being in this body? Why do you want to keep talking about in the next life? Will I be an alien? Will I be a superhuman? Will I be happy? No, if you're not happy in this life, guess what's going to happen? You're going to take that unhappiness in the next life. You want to be happy in the next life? Learn how to be happy in this life. You got to take full responsibility for your life now. Stop being a victim. I'm not going to co-sign that for you. I don't care what your limitations are. I'm not in your body. If you were born with a physical limitation, I don't know what that's like. It's obviously more challenging than what I'm experiencing. So I'm not trying to say I could do it, but the responsibility is still the same. You chose to be here. Whatever you don't like about your life, you chose it. If you don't own that and say, I'm going to love my life no matter what it takes, then next time you're going to come back and you'll have other limitations which will finally force you to just get so pissed off that you'll do whatever the hell it takes. You want my help? Do the exercises. Get some counseling. Get out of this victim mentality. Having said that, you can ask me whatever question you want because other people need to hear it too. I wish you all the best. Peter Moshi question, could you provide a detailed list of teachings in level 2 astrology certification? Yeah, I do. If you go on to that site, there's a video and I tell you the things that I teach you. The level 1 is not helpful for my needs, so would like to know. Well, so you have level 1. I don't know what your needs are. Then don't waste your time. Listen, I don't, it's not going to make or break me if you buy, or don't buy something from me. If it's not helpful for you, then don't get it. You've already seen enough in level 1 to see if it's going to work for you. So if you don't think it's going to work for you, then don't get level 2. Don't become one of my apprentices. Don't get certified in my, whatever it is. I'm not the only, there's no shortage of astrology teachers out there. No shortage of astrology teachings and certifications and courses. Mine doesn't work for you. Please go find something else. I probably have something else in my arsenal of teachings that might be helpful for you. So to answer your question, I can't off the top of my head because I don't know exactly what it is that you need. Daniel, question. Sorry for off topic. What is your view on the Watchers of the Bible? Okay, so the operative word there is Bible. Are you new to my channel? Because if you're new to my channel, then you can ask that question. If you're not new to my channel, then what the hell are you asking me about the Bible? Watch my videos about Abrahamic religions, about the Bible, about Christianity. Anything within the Bible at best is suspect. Toss the whole thing. The whole thing was designed to make you a slave. Everything in it. Toss the whole thing. It's worthless. It's only designed to make you a victim. So I don't know the Watchers of the Bible other than it's garbage nonsense. That's what I think. Which are the ones resurrecting people to turn people Christian on a mission? I mean, I don't know what that is. That's, that's the New Testament. It's all with the New Testament. Again, watch my videos about did Jesus really exist? The New Testament is fictional. There, it's all fiction, and I can prove it. Go onto my channel and watch my videos about, did Jesus really exist? Why was the New Testament written? Read my book. Go up to books and read Odin Says Jesus Was a Coward. I go into specific detail about when the Abrahamic religion was invented, why it was invented, and how it's all just propaganda and fiction and nonsense. Get rid of it. What about this? Because you said in a video that some mantras are problematic with the planets, I was not able to fully ask the question due to 200 character restrictions. So I have to go back to your previous question, Tara, which is way the hell up here somewhere. Do you know any problems with chanting Om in relation to the problems with, now I understand your question. No, there's no problems with it. As I've taught, there are some all-purpose mantras. So thank you for your question. My apologies for not understanding your question. But no, Om, the OM is a seed sound that is all-encompassing and is completely user-friendly. Om Namah Shivaya is another user-friendly mantra. Do that one, even if you don't know what your astrology is, and it will be helpful for you. There are a few others, but those two for sure are safe. Om is perfectly safe. It's not only perfectly safe, it's very beneficial. Daniel, meaning karma mati. I meant for leaving the body. So I have to go back. See, even when you ask, say, in reference to my question when I asked such and such, what I meant was, because now I have to go back and look, because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Again, don't assume that I know what you're talking about. Put the time and effort into writing everything. Question, you say there has to be a destiny for that. You mean that there has to be a reason to leave the body. Destiny by that you mean, see, you're asking three different questions. You're repeating yourself. You could have asked it in one question. Destiny by that you mean leaving the body to fulfill a purpose in the 3D world, and then scrolling back down, I meant for leaving the body. I don't know what you mean by leaving the body. Are you talking about having a shamanic experience where you go and have a shamanic journey? Are you talking about your spirit actually leaving the body and going to someplace physically in the world? Are you talking about having a near-death experience where your body dies and you really leave? Which one are you talking about? In either case, it doesn't matter. Why are you asking the question? It tells me that that's something that you want. And again, it makes me want to ask you, why do you want to leave your body? Who cares? If you're wanting to leave your body because you're wanting to escape, you're doing it for the wrong reason. Look to stay in your body. Look to have all of your feelings. You're here for a reason. Here's the thing. You're having an out-of-body experience right now. If you're in your physical body, it means that your spirit has left its place and it is projecting itself into this three-dimensional world. It's the same as having an out-of-body experience. You're having one right now. Learn to enjoy it and learn to master it. It's like being in a video game and not knowing how to, work the controls. Learn how to work the controls and enjoy the game. This is coming from somebody that's done all that stuff. There's nothing to be found out there that can't be found right here. In fact, this is a much better place. There's far more power in your body in this life than there is out there. This is the place of power. All of the gods and all of the angels and all of the ancestors and all of the demons and all of the other beings, when they see human souls going incarnating, they have envy. They go, man, I wish that was me. They have so much power, and look at them. They have no idea what they're doing. My God, they've forgotten. They have no clue what they're doing. I would remember. And in fact, your soul probably said that. Your soul went, I would remember. I want to go down. And you went down, and then just like everybody else, you forgot. And that's where the power is, because if you remember, there's no fun. The power is in learning and remembering. The fun is in learning and remembering, because then you appreciate it. You're in limited three-dimensional time. When you're in infinite time, you don't appreciate things because you're infinite. But when life is finite and you could die tomorrow, man, you appreciate everything you have. By the way, people who are people who have victim mentality think they're immortal because they're complaining. They're miserable. If you live in the moment and you know that tomorrow you could die and nothing matters, all the stuff that you think that matters, trying to keep all the money, trying to do whatever it is you think you do, and you realize, God, that's just so meaningless. Let me just go out and enjoy this life. You can't take any of it with you. So victims believe they're immortal, even if they're afraid of death. If you know that death is coming tomorrow, you're like, I'm all about this life. Let me live this thing as much as I can. We should all have that. Death is our greatest teacher. Question, thank you. You said inferior bodies. Okay, in another video I said something about that. Inferior bodies, example, animals, insects, are advanced souls, but can it be that they're failed souls? No. What kind of a horrible life, what kind of a horrible universe do you live in? Alekia, what do I keep saying? Drop the victim mentality. Everything you're asking is coming from a victim mentality. I'm getting annoyed with you because you're not listening to what I'm saying and you're not taking my advice. The people who listen to what I say and take my advice and take my direction to the letter, follow my directions to the letter, their lives get better. You're not hearing what I'm saying. Drop that belief. Ask yourself, if you're going to ask me a question, stop and go, is that a victim mentality? Thinking that you're going to be reborn as an insect because you're inferior and did something wrong is a victim mentality. Drop it. Superior body. What's wrong with the body you have now? My body's superior. You don't appreciate the body that you have. You have these 5 these 5 elemental systems within your body that if you chanted, if you go on to my site, my books, the Thunder Wizard subscription site, I teach you how to chant the sounds for the 5 elements. I teach you how to open up the 3 dantians. I teach you how to go in and stimulate the pineal and the pituitary. If you stimulate all of these things with life force energy, guess what happens? Your body becomes superior. Why are you waiting until after death? You could do it right now. What the hell are you waiting for? Go do the work. Stop complaining. Until you get over, and look at the reasons why you're so miserable, you're going to keep asking me these questions and I'm going to keep getting infuriated with you because you're not doing it. I don't have any sympathy for victims. I watched the most amazing being that has ever lived. I watched her die. So whatever it is you think you're going through, you're still alive. She said that to me one day. One of the things that I would do, she was sick and I would go and see her and she wanted to know about my day and I was complaining about normal everyday things and she said without any judgment, she looked at me and she said, I wish I had your problems. Totally woke me up. It's like, oh my God, I'm not the one about to die. Get over yourself. Live. This world is so amazing. It's so beautiful. It is such a magical, amazing place. And you're spending all this time thinking, it makes me sad. You're thinking about your next life and am I going to have a superior body? No, if you have that attitude in the next life, even if I gave you a superior body, you'd complain because you're going to take that same attitude you have now into your next life. Magic Song question. Tantric sorcery is a very in-depth subject that you mentioned. Can you share with us some knowledge in this direction? Example, Kaula, Shakta, Agori have their own schools. Is that a question? You're not asking me a question. A question is, Can you tell me about this and this and this? I want to know. You're wanting me to go on and on about 5 different. You're nothing personal, but you're bragging to the rest of us about your knowledge, and you're either consciously or unconsciously trying to tell everybody you know more than I do. You're trying to test to see how much I know. I'm not talking about that. That's not the point of this video. I've shared with you, if you watched from the beginning, I shared with you about the school that I did learn in from and very specific things about that. But the bottom line, the point of this video is that it doesn't matter. No human has the power to do that. That's the point of this video. So no, I don't teach Kaula, Shakta, or Agori, and congratulations for knowing about that. I don't teach that stuff. I teach what I teach. Mariana Wistuba, Christianity taught, that's not a question. So if you have a question, write the word question. Let's see. Buddhism is to me like love and light. So you're saying you don't like Buddhism? Okay, doesn't work for you, that's all right. I need your inside, you mean my insight. What course of yours is best for me? I must talk to you. I need the bridge. So if you want to get a session with me, go to career.thunderwizard.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, and purchase a session. That will give you an hour session with me, and I'll answer any questions you want. The site is for career, but it doesn't have to be about career. You can just get a session from me. What is the best course for you? Well, go on and look at all my courses and look through them. I've got videos on should be on just about every single one of those pages, which tells you what the courses are. I don't know what the best one is for you. I like Celestial Qigong. It's my most... the best book is maybe the career path course is the best for you to learn what your true path in life is. But the Celestial Qigong is my best selling and longest selling practice, and that's because it's the most powerful energy practice that you can use without being trained in person. So why don't we take a short break and you can look at that, and if you want to, you can get that course. Oh, let's talk about, instead of that, let's talk about the immortality. So here's the best, to answer your question, perhaps for you the best one is the Immortality package. So let's talk about that, and then I'll see if there's any more questions. That's not it. Where is it? Is this it? Nope. I thought I had a video about the Immortality package. Anyway, there is a video there. Is this an Immortality vid? Here, this might be it. Okay, so what I want to talk to you about right now is a very special package that I've put together, which I think is long overdue. I've been getting a lot of questions about reincarnation, and I've been getting a lot of questions about immortality and health and youth, and what are some of the ways that you can, stay young, stay healthy, stay strong. So, if you know, there's already a service that you can get to by going to immortal.thunderwizard.com, and that is the Becoming an Immortal Phase 1 teaching series, which I teach you a very ancient, esoteric Taoist meditation from Taoist master wizards who are known for living very long lives. And if you've trained in any of these, you know that there are legends of these Taoist masters who have actually become immortals. And what an immortal is that through their spiritual practice, through their energy work, they raise the vibration of their cells up to a certain level that they phase out of three-dimensional existence and they live in multiple dimensions. They're still here, they're still around, but you can't see them. But it's because they have chosen to do this kind of work to become, in the Taoist understanding, to become a god, to become an immortal. So as I said, there's two ways to achieve freedom from reincarnation. One is to achieve all of your desires over multiple lifetimes, and then you never have to come back and you move on to the next phase. The other is to raise the vibrational level of the energy in your organs and in your cells so that you phase out of existence and become what is known as an immortal. And that way you hold on to your awareness and you don't have to forget who you are and come back and relearn everything. So that was the Taoist mindset. The Taoist mindset is, let's do this right once so that we don't have to keep coming back and remembering who we are. And they did that through energy work. Now, the benefits of that, the benefits of doing the immortality meditation is that your cells start to vibrate on a higher level. The energy in the organs and the cells start to vibrate on a higher level, and you end up reversing your aging. So in this package, let me tell you what is in this package. I guess before that, let me just tell you, I swear to you, I'm telling you the truth. Last night, again, I was with a very beautiful young woman who was, I believe she was 22. And I was spending some time with her. And she wanted to know my age, and she said, I want to guess your age. Because I had told her some of the things that I had done, and she said, wow, you've done a lot of stuff. She says, I want to guess your age. And I said, please, I'd love to hear that. So she looked at me and she scrutinized my face and touched my body and my arms, and then she said, I think you're 45. And I said, thank you, that's very kind of you. I'm actually 56. She said, really? Wow, I was actually, trying to go older than what I thought just to be safe. But she says, you could pass for 40 if you want, especially if you dyed your gray hairs. People wouldn't know how old you were. And I said, thank you, that makes me feel very good. I do feel good, I do feel healthy. So I'm not telling you that to brag. I'm telling you that that is the result of the practices that I've done throughout my life. Now, I've been doing it since I was in my late 20s. But I've learned that there are multiple factors involved. You have to have the right understanding of how the matrix works so that you can get the matrix to give you what you want. You have to understand how the matrix works. You also understand emotionally and psychologically how to interact with life. A lot of people are under stress, they take themselves too seriously, they take other people too seriously, and that has to do partly with you don't know how the matrix functions, and so you feel like you're a victim and all those kinds of things. But the other aspect is not knowing how to do the energy work and the meditations that keep your body young. You have to have all of them. So let me tell you what is in this package. So what we have in this package is you're going to have access to a package that already exists, which is called the 4 Tools to Exit the Matrix. In this package, the first teaching series is called Find Your Perfect Career. Now I call it Find Your Perfect Career because most people are interested in money and most people want to know what they can do to make all the money that they want. So I named it that. But the reality is that I have discovered is that when you are operating in unison with your internal spiritual purpose, you know how to manipulate the matrix to give you everything that you want. And when that happens, you end up in this really wonderful dynamic where the universe pays you money to be your authentic self. I don't work. I don't have a job. Right now I'm in Australia. I'm living in a 3-bedroom house that I'm renting, and I'm right across the beach from beautiful tropical beaches and beautiful women walking up and down in bikinis, and I surf all day. And then I come and I do some videos and I talk to my friends on the phone and I help them. I get paid to do that. It's something I would do anyway. It's my perfect life. It's my fantasy life. I've come to find out that that's how the universe works. But you first have to know what your fantasy life is. That you will find at Find Your Perfect Career. That in and of itself will get rid of tons of stress, which creates toxins, which age you and gives you disease. Once you get rid of that, it's a lot easier to be healthy and happy. Okay? The next thing in the 4 tools to exit the matrix is the celestial qigong. This is my oldest teaching series. I've been selling it for over 10 years, and it is by far the most powerful energy practice I've ever encountered. It connects you to the ascended masters, and it works to reverse aging. It works to bring you higher consciousness. It gives you tremendous spiritual connections, shamanic experiences. People tell me that they've done it and they've traveled outside their body and the blue light beings came to them. And I don't promise that. I just gave people this really great qigong practice that I've learned and deepened my knowledge with. They've had that experience. So you get the celestial qigong as well. Then you get the 5 rules to master the matrix. That's absolutely crucial. You must understand who you are and your relationship to the matrix. Most people don't. Most people think that they're trapped in the matrix. That's only if you don't understand who you are and how the matrix responds to you. Once you understand the rules of how the matrix works, it obeys you because you know exactly what levers to pull to make it do what you want. Okay, and then I give you a link to go to the thunderwizard.com subscription page if you want to be a part of that and learn the Manifestation Mastery course and the Mastery of Shamanism. So that, all of that, and even a hell of a lot more than that is in the 4 tools to exit the matrix package. On top of that, I have also added the Becoming an Immortal Phase 1 teaching series where I teach you this ancient meditation from Taoist masters. I teach you a special mudra. I teach you, anyway, I won't give it all here now because there's a lot of teaching in it. And I explain to you the science and understanding from the Taoist wizard mastery understanding of how to escape reincarnation by becoming an immortal. It's very simple, and this is phase 1. There's 3 phases to it, and when enough people get through phase 1, I'll teach phase 2 and phase 3. Right now, because I am paying off my taxes, I have slashed my prices on everything. So normally, if you were to get the normal price after the savings, these 2 packages would cost you $639. That's after all the savings. I've slashed another $400 off of that, and now it's $239 for all the things that I just mentioned. So go ahead and go to immortality.thunderwizard.com, and you can purchase that slashed price package right here and right now. And you know, maybe this is your window. I'm telling you, the benefits of all this are you get to learn how to live in this world and get paid just to be yourself. You learn how to reduce all of the stress, all of the craziness of your false beliefs about who you are and what the universe is, and all the stress that goes along with that. Once you relieve all the stress of that, you already put yourself in a position to be healthier and happier. Then when you combine the energy work of both the celestial qigong and the immortal phase 1 package, and you do those practices, then you start to reverse the aging process within the cells of the body, within the organs of the body. And then, like me, when you're, 60 is right around the corner for me, women, if you're a guy, women half your age will comment about how young you look. And at the same time, they'll say, but you're so mature and so wise. It's the best of both worlds. I'm telling you, man, this is the best of both worlds for me now. And I'm only telling you this because people are bringing it to my attention. And since people are asking me about reincarnation and how to avoid the pain of reincarnation, you have to understand that there's more to it than that. I'm going to talk about that in some other videos, but for this right now, I just want to introduce you to this new package, the Immortality package, immortality.thunderwizard.com. Save $400 off the already slashed prices, and for $239 you get, what would probably be over $1,000 worth of teachings in one little package. Okay, so this is for a limited time only. Take advantage of it now, because once I've paid my taxes off, I'm going to go everything back to their normal prices. All right, thanks, my friends. I will see you very soon. All right, so there's that. I think there are some questions here. Let's see if we can take a look at. So, Alekia says, um, can it be that we forgot about our past lives because it's too long ago? Can we remember if we try hard enough? Can you please read my past question fully? You misunderstood me. So I went back to your past question here, Alekia, and part of the problem is again, people aren't writing out full, sentences with proper grammar, so I know what the hell they're saying. It's part of it. The other one is I'm trying to get through everything very quickly, so my apologies. But you said inferior bodies, animals, insects, etc., are advanced souls, and again, I don't know what that means. ARE, advanced souls. Our advanced souls, our advanced souls. Did I say that animals and insects are advanced souls? When did I say that? What did I mean by that? I don't know what you're asking. But can it be that they're the failed souls? So this is, you see what I mean? It doesn't matter. I can tell the essence of the question. Failed souls. So you want to know if human beings failed and as a result they dropped back in animals. I've addressed this numerous times. It doesn't work like that. And again, you're coming from a victim mentality. The idea of failing. There's no failing. If there was failing, there wouldn't be reincarnation. Reincarnation isn't failing. Reincarnation says, yeah, you got infinite number of lives. Keep coming back until you get it right. You can keep coming back because the soul, when it leaves it goes, oh man, I want to go back. And the universe says, go back as many times as you want. It's not failed. Get over the victim mentality garbage. You're not listening to what I'm saying. You're not applying it. I mean everything else I said before. You got to do the work. You need to do the meditations. You need to get it in there. Go in and ask yourself, is this a victim mentality? And get rid of it. Drop every belief system, even if you have none left. It's like, I don't have any more beliefs yet. They were all victim mentalities. Great, then you get to start over and build from a different understanding. Can it be that we forgot about our past lives because it's just too long ago? Can we remember if we try hard enough? Who cares? You're operating from the assumption that if you remembered, in other words, you're still operating from a loss. The assumption of your question is that if you remembered, you'd be better off. And people want to remember their past lives because they want more control. And they think if they remembered their past life and everything they did in their past life, then they'd be able to fix it in this life. You remember what you need to remember. So if you have a past life, reading, or assuming it's legitimate, or a past life, shamanic journey where you remember, the stuff that you're going to be remembering are the things that are important about this life. I can remember 3 past lives. And they all point to things that I had to learn in this life. So forget about all that stuff. Drop all of it. If you need to remember it, you will. I still say the same thing. Forget about past lives. Forget about future lives. Live in this life. Daniel, question. I purchased your Odin Says Jesus Was a Coward book. I will buy another one as an entry reading to your teachings. Start with the first one, which is the Thunder Wizard Path. A lot of my thoughts have changed since that first book, by the way, but you can get that one. I write all of my books and I do all of my video teachings not to be done in a specific order because I know that people don't do that. People just buy whatever fits their fancy. So buy whatever books you want. You'll still be at, I'll still explain it from day one, whether it's Thunder Shamanism or Mounting Sleipnir or anything. That you'll still be given the basics to get entry level into it. You don't have to start from one. By the way, if you're not subscribed, go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe at the entry level because I created that because people ask these questions. Where do I start? Which book do I start with? Which video should I start with? So I teach you from ground level up. Alekia, you need to do that too. Because the first video I tell you to drop all victim mentality. You know, if you're coming onto my channel on a regular basis and you keep asking the same questions and I'm shaking my finger at you, go on and subscribe and get the other stuff. Okay? And learn from that. You know, then you won't have to ask these questions over and over again. And hopefully we'll fix the things inside of you that are causing you challenges. I mean, I can't guarantee you'll be super happy all the time, but you know, over time, again, my experiences, every one of my students who follows my directions to the letter and does it consistently, their lives get better. They go through challenges, but their lives get better. They get happier, healthier, more prosperous, more successful. If you want what I have, you got to do what I do. Yeah, just this whole thing about not going back to inferior bodies that we already passed. It's just like, just drop it, man. You're just operating from a completely false understanding of who you are. XPR Femu question: can I come live with you? No. I'll be like a fly on a wall just for a week or until you kick me out. All right, I've already kicked you out. No, of course you can't come live with me. Why would I want you to do that? I don't know you. Why would I want you to come live with me? And what would be the benefit of that? How would that benefit me? You're going to come into my house and live in my house for free? You're not going to be a fly on my wall. I'm going to see you. You're going to be using the same bathroom as I do. Come on, what are you talking about? Of course not. No. Nope. You don't get to do that. But I appreciate the compliment. Whatever that means, it means that you're projecting onto me something that I probably am not. You see something in me that you think you want, which is good. What you should do then is you should become my apprentice. Go to thunderwizard.com and become an apprentice. That's going to get you what you really want. If you came and lived with me, trust me, you wouldn't get what you wanted. You'd see me in my full human mode, and I would be such a pain in the ass, and I wouldn't want you in my space. I'm such a private person. And plus, this is my home where I entertain people, and I have my own personal fun, and you're not invited because I don't know you. All right. So there you go. All right, I don't have any more questions, and I'm done. I'm actually going to go to the gym and work out before before it gets too late, because I have been sitting around in this chair all day working and making videos. Put your mind towards making this channel huge. I've made the decision. I'm now committed, and I want this channel to be enormous. I want this to be the premier channel. There's so much garbage out there. I mean, I'm looking at other spiritual teacher channels and people with, you know, the turbans on their head and the giant beards, and the stuff they say is so superficial and so nonsensical, and they billions of views. What the hell is that all about? I want this channel to be that. So put your mind and help me to achieve that. My first goal is to get 250,000 subscribers, and you know, have my videos go viral. All right, so that's what all this stuff is. And the more that I do that, the more of these videos I'm going to make. If you want to support that, besides putting your vibes into the universe to make that happen, obviously go to courses.thunderwizard.com and get the materials and do the practices. Help the world by doing the practices. If you do any of the practices, you will benefit the rest of the world, and your life will get better. Subscribing on the Thunder Wizard channel gives me monthly income that the more that happens, the more I can just focus on these videos. And I don't have to, you know, deal with clients and other things as much. All right? Raido Saul throws out a question before I get off. Do you use a specific mudra and galder or mantra for meditation, energy, ritual to fray? The Ing rune meditation. You can look for that on my channel. If you want to get it fast, you can go to the Celestial Qigong. I teach it in there under a different name, but it has the same mudra. I think I call it the pyramid mudra meditation. That is the same thing. Garga Gaming. I don't even looked at it. I don't know what you're talking about. No condescension intended, but a good camera may get you more subs. Yeah, you want to buy me one? Um, I kind of like the look. Don't you like the mysterious look? I kind of like it. I look like Thanos. I did all that. You know what? I'm going to tell you how I know what makes my channel work. What makes my channel work is that I'm real. And I do it at different times of day. Sometimes the light is coming right at me through, but I did all that and I did all the fancy editing and all that, and my subs didn't go anywhere. People subscribe because of these live Q&As and because I tell people the truth and I climb into people's rear end and I tell them when they're full of crap. And so I appreciate that. I'll sit with it, but if I really want more subs, it's going to come from the content. It's not going to come from my camera. All right, that's it for me. And let's see. Let me see if I have something. Do I have something that I wanted here? Let's see. What did I? All right. So I need to just give out an announcement to one of my very dear friends. And anyway, you'll be excited to hear about this. It's going to completely change the world. It's just a couple of minutes, and then we'll call it a night. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Did I not do it? Oh, I didn't do it. I thought I put it in here in video. Oh well. All right, here we go with this one. No, what's happening? Why aren't you guys doing what I want? Nothing's doing what I want here. All right, never mind. All right, that's it for me tonight. I see you guys later.